Hey, traders, how's it going? Want to catch up with everybody out there. It's been about a week or so, maybe a little more. I want to show you some trades we took this week that helped me with my understanding of when is the best time to trade, right? A lot of traders ask me, when's the best time? I actually make a fair amount of money in the overnight session, right? So between like 8 p.m. and maybe midnight, I can do fairly well, but I don't use this strategy. I use a scalping strategy, and I'm pretty good at just sort of finding ranges, as long as it's in neutral market. So during the cash session, for me, the most profitable time is like either right at the open or waiting until a clear trade presents itself up until whenever the last trade ends, but I don't want to put on another one usually after like 11 a.m. Why is that? Well, because most of the volatility dies down. Maybe there's a direction, maybe it's a trend day. If it's a trend day, then you already missed it. You don't want to chase it because things get overextended sometimes and you don't know where it's going to end, right? But we're just taking our regular trades, our regular setups. This is all we need to look for, right? Wednesday was great. Right at the open, and I don't like opening trades unless it's just glaring, right? It's got to be so obvious to me that it's a great trade. And this one was. All right, so if I look at the algorithm, obviously is the first thing that we look for. The algorithm fired short here, right at the open. Now, it's actually like 3 bars after the open, right? So these are 1-minute bars. On the cash session, I trade the 1 minute with the algorithm. And that was not the first signal. It wasn't right on the first bar. It wasn't a reversal that way. So I had a few bars for this trade to establish itself, right? And then I start looking for my criteria. Okay, well, the algorithm fired, obviously, down to the downside, right? This EMA, the fast EMA for me, which is the 12, right? The 12 is the orange line for me. That crossed down. That's the faster moving EMA. So the faster one goes in the direction typically of the trade, right? Slower EMA is on the top now, right? So wherever the fast EMA is, that's the direction of your trade that you should be in. If they do not match, you should not be in the trade in that direction, right? But here we got to cross down, so that's perfect, right? We come down here to our impulse MACD. The impulse MACD was crossed down and red. Perfect. Squeeze was clearly sinking and red. And look at this. Trend and momentum. All on our side. This is what we call an A+ setup, right? There's nothing not there that we want. It's right at the open. You got a lot of volatility. Now, does that mean this trade can't just fly back in your face and cross and go the other direction? Of course it can. Of course it can. But this is what we look for, right? We want to make sure all the criteria are there, and then we trade it. We take it. We don't think about it, right? We're not going to think about it, because then you know what's going to happen when you think about it? First, you're going to miss the trade. Then you're going to analyze it, and you're going to think you know better, and, it doesn't look good, and then you're going to find a million reasons not to get into it. But guess what? These indicators know better than you, right? All of these things know better than you. If they're all there, take the trade. I've done this work. I spent years going over this, figuring out what works. How does it work? What's the best way to know that my confidence should be intact for a high probability trade? And it's right in your face. It's those things, right? The algorithm, right? Crosses down on the EMA. Crosses down on the impulse MACD. My lines, I have it set to go red, right? That tells me it's red. This red line here is very similar to this red line here on the bottom, on the trend and momentum indicators, right? This red line tells me sort of the same thing. It's a little bit duplicative, right? So let's look at the next trade. So this one, that was great. It was a $1,200 and something trade right there. Easy stuff. Not hard, right? Just have to do it. So, okay, well, what happens? Well, my impulse MACD crossed up, right? So that's an indication of this trade is over, right? I don't want to still be in this trade. And then we can see we get a buy signal. Okay, well, when the buy signal fired, my EMAs were not crossed back up yet. So I can't get into that trade for 3 more bars. That's okay, right? So this fires, get a buy signal. We have to wait until this bar for this to cross up. Great. Now we have check marks. This is obviously the first thing that happened. This crossed here. Great. Now check this out. Red to green. That's the squeeze, right? It's loaded here and it fires, right? So it goes red. As soon as you see that first green dot, that's the squeeze firing. Then we have confluence down here. Momentum went from red to neutral. Now it's green, right? So the last thing to actually go is the EMA on this one, right? And I have that set this way for a reason. I use the 12 and the 31 EMA for a reason. It prevents false signals, right? This keeps us out of trades that would look like they're going up and then boom, go straight down, right? That's just a continuation trade. If that EMA isn't crossed up on the 1231, we do not get in. Now, it looks like a massacre occurred here on my screen with all this writing, so I'm going to try to erase some of this without erasing all of my indicators. But I want you to see how easy it is to just take these signals. I'm not doing anything hard. I'm not doing anything any one of you can't do. It's just a matter of understanding these things, right? What are they? What do they do? That's simple, right? This algorithm is pretty self-explanatory. I can show you how to use that. That's pretty easy, right? I share with you my settings. If you want to reach out to me on an individual basis, I will give you all of my settings. That's not a problem. I don't charge for this kind of stuff. Just reach out to me. I'm here to help. I'm paying it forward, folks. That's what I'm doing here, right? Not a furu, not going to ask you for Venmo me money to do this and that. That's not what I'm here for, right? I've done this myself. I don't need you, right? But you might need me because I went through this pain for you on your behalf. So there's a link in the description to this app. It is a paid indicator. The rest of these indicators, I have links for the free versions. There's a free version of this momentum and trend indicator in there as well. It is not an exact match to the one I have here. So the one I have here is a paid indicator. This is someone else's that I paid for, and I'm going to use it because I bought it. But I have a free version in there for you. So the only thing you really need to pay for is this algorithm, right? There's a link in the description for that. If you want to sign up, I do get a few bucks for that. If you do sign up, maybe. I don't even think they pay me anymore, to be honest with you. But regardless, it's a useful tool, and it's really the tool that we use. And we can set this up so it fires and gives us signals, so we don't have to even sit in front of the screen all day. All right, folks, trade safe. Trade small, right? Base hits. We're not looking for home runs here. Also, go to trypropfirms.com. In there, you can see all the different prop firms that we use, that we vetted, that we like, that we've gotten payouts from. Very important, right? We have used and tried out these companies so you don't have to experiment on your own. Go to trypropfirms.com and use the promotional codes that are on the website for the different prop firms. They have discount codes for all of them. So use their money, not your own. You don't need all that leverage now to trade, right? Also, the mindset's a little different when you're not putting your own capital at risk. People underestimate how much that affects your psyche and affects your trading and your decision making. When you're putting your own money on the line, when you're doing it with a prop firm, it just feels different. It's a little less strain on your brain. So check it out, trypropfirms.com. Stay safe. Don't be a hero. We don't hate our money. Trade small, trade for tomorrow. Peace.